Hi everybody, welcome back. Well, we have another satellite image today of this Becquerel layering that we've been looking at before. This is kind of a new buzzword. I put it in the search engine in the Photojournal, NASA Photojournal, and it came up with 13 hits. They have 13 images of this type of absolutely fantastic construction. And we've seen so many different kinds of unbelievable construction. And these pictures really more than the dune pictures have allowed us to come a little bit closer. And I frankly I struggle. I sometimes I look at these pictures and I think, gosh, are they real? Is this really real? And I'm no expert, but I've done my very, very best to vet this out. And so, in my very humble opinion, I really do think it is real. No doubt we have pixels in here, and there are also, no doubt, some image artifacts. But, it's in this picture, it's in so many others, and, it just. If you spend enough time looking at this, you see the layout, and it's incredible. I just don't even know what to say about it. There's just such an intense population, and the big questions just come up. The infrastructure, the food, the distribution. I mean, it's too hard to grasp, and just based on the pictures that we're seeing, right, it's too hard to grasp. I guess if you've been around for a couple 100 million years, it's all no big deal. Now look at this square structuring here on the right. These this black sort of rectangular structuring here. With this white encroaching in on it. It's now down at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, it's got these white buildings encroaching in on the black. And then there's also the same thing going on up at the top right of the screen. It's also another square or rectangular black construction with white buildings encroaching in on that one. And then in the top left, we also have a square structuring, but this one had a circular construction pop up on top of it, and so it's kind of covered up most of that square. Very interesting, very strange. And the thing about it is at some point in the future, it doesn't matter. It's all going to get covered up. Everything gets covered up. It never stops. This has been going on for so long, and it's a layered construction. At the end of the day, everything will get covered up. I'm going to show you a little bit more about that. Right here are probably some of the biggest buildings in any of these pictures right here, and they're pretty clear. And there are these rows of structures coming down. We've seen this before, rows of white structures with darker buildings in the middle, usually larger. We've seen that quite a few times. That was a real good example, though. And right here in the middle of the screen is this circular thing. It's like a circular construction, and it looks like it's kind of suspended above whatever it's sitting on there. And then you can see these rows of white buildings going down, just like we've seen on Venus and other parts of Mars and other places. And here's the same place, a little different look. And to the right, that dark area is the pointy end of a layered construction. So we're looking right at the very end of it there, and then going down the middle of the screen, slightly to the left, is about 3 or 4 rows of different colored buildings that go off into the distance, and then the white buildings on the left-hand side. And here's the very tip of the construction. And then if you look to the right, you see as it goes down the hill, all the layers going down there. They will soon build up to, all the way up. It'll end up being a real thick mat. And right here I'm going to give you a good example of what I'm talking about and how they do this. Now if you look at these white layers right here, you have one big one, two, and then a third one which is cut short. And where it's cut short, you can see the buildings are darker there, and it has these stair-step buildings that go up there. There's about 5 or 6 or 7 of them right in front here in the middle. And that is the beginning of filling it in so that layered construction can be built on top. And it's exactly like Legos. I mean, it's exactly like Legos. It's no different. I doubt if they're plastic and snap together, but it's exactly how it goes together. And so they're going to those lines there are just kind of showing you demonstrating those stair-step buildings I'm talking about. And then they're going to build it up, and they're going to fill it out. And then before you know it, once they get that all done, then they're going to finish the layer, and they're going to just run it out and fill that in. And while that's going on, they've already started building up the layer below already. And then pretty soon that's going to get built up, and then they're going to run another layer down there, and so on and so forth. And it keeps building up and up and up. And you know, just in one section I counted 30 layers, and it had to be the top of that very top striped part there is 30 layers right there. And how many layers go down? It's incredible. Now that line along the top, it designates the surface. So those are structures up there on top. That's the surface. They're blowing in the wind up there. And then the bottom line is the bottom, at least as far as this picture is concerned. And then the perpendicular line is just demonstrating where all that layering is. And so the layering at the bottom is closer to us than it is at the top, because it's coming down at a slope towards us. So here is a picture of the surface up there, and you can see the orientation of the buildings, almost like streets. And this picture is pretty clear, and you can see where those buildings come down right to the edge of that layered construction, and you can see very clearly those buildings along the top, along that edge of that layered construction. It's a really clear picture right there. It's just too much, you know. It's too much. I couldn't even really imagine a perfectly clear picture of this. It'd probably be too overwhelming, you know. Really amazing construction right there. Buildings going up on both sides. It's just amazing. Really good shot of the individual structures on the outside edge, the leading edge of this mat, of this giant mat of buildings. And it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, along with all the other ones. Thanks for watching, everyone.